geography and socioeconomics is becoming connected again in a way that it's not been for a very long time. Like based on where you live very much determines what your quality of life is and what your experience of services is in Victoria. And I think it's almost becoming more like post-war again, because for a long time it didn't matter where you lived, you were going to get sort of more or less the same experience. Through COVID, you had that physical separation, but you also had experiential separation. So people like me who are working in essential services, frontline, hospitality, people who are working at Woolies, people who are working, like doing the jobs that you couldn't do from home, that you couldn't just put in the freezer and shut off. Those people were exposed to health risk, to lifestyle sacrifice, to like while people who could work from home in the laptop class were living a pretty good life, buying dogs and putting on their onesies and hoodies and working from home, people who didn't have that luxury were experiencing hardship. And so since COVID, that sort of rift that was exposed, I don't think it's gone backwards or healed. I think it's actually gotten worse. And so people who are paying exorbitant amounts for petrol, people who are paying, well, nobody's paying tax on cigarettes anymore, but people who would otherwise be. But that's my point. That whole phenomenon, it's happening because you've got two different experiences of Victoria, and for many people, they will be oblivious to that sort of degenerating spiral. But there will be people who will feel it and will be exposed to it, and those will be the people where change, I think, will come from.
Well, the really smart people, you mentioned my lifestyle is mainly a cattle farmer every day. It's a community farm. And so there's a whole bunch of families that are part of it. And so they're living in the suburbs, like you mentioned, but they're smart enough to have an insurance plan. And we've all come together and bought farm. So there's interesting new things, very novel things happening.
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting kind of, that's an interesting almost intersection between socialism and libertarianism.
It's very socialist.
It is, I mean, in a way, the perfect libertarian world would be where people do voluntarily choose to pool their resources and choose to share farm and choose to do all those things. The only difference is the socialists would say, well, that should be kind of enforced by the state, and, and there should be no private property, so.